Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Ought to Know Better. Tonight, you've got the dream team. It's a trio. It's myself, pod regular Smarty, and pod regular Carl. How you doing, boys?
Doing all right, yeah.
I'm going to roll them credits.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Well, here we are. We weren't sure if we were doing a pod tonight or not, seeing as we didn't have a game coming up, but there's a lot to talk about, I think. So, as always, we're here to give the people what they want. And I'm driving tonight, so I'm trying not to press the wrong buttons like I normally do.
Got car crash written all over it.
How are you two doing tonight?
Yeah, doing all right, man. Yeah, considering we've a long wait till we play our next game, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we certainly will. What about you, Smarty?
Relaxed. Finally.
How's your back?
It seemed like an eternity. It's nice to be just not shitting yourself anymore.
Isn't it nice to have a game like miles away and not be thinking, oh shit, I don't know what I'm going to do for the next 2 weeks. It's awful.
Stop the world. I want to get off. When will this nightmare end? It's now we're kind of It's all right. It's all right at the minute. It's good.
It's not bad, is it?
It's all right to be Leeds at the minute.
It is. I won't want to be anyone else. So I know it's
that, man.
Are you a bit subdued tonight, Carl?
Sometimes I don't have a lot to say, but sure, I'll ramble on at some point and throw in a word that Gilly is going to think sounds weird just because I say it again.
Make up your own words, mate. You do you.
I do me, man. I do me.
That's
all
it,
day
mate.
long.
You just, bust it out. Whatever you need to do, mate. Whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll fire straight into
Ought to Know Better predictions.
And I'll hand it over to you, Smarty.
Evening, Bremner.
To me. Good evening, Bremner's ghost.
I'll do it then. I'll do it then.
The pod is resting on Jay's shoulders tonight.
No, it's all good. For some reason, I thought I would give that to Smarty. I don't know why. Smarty does the poll. Don't worry about it.
Well, I did ask.
It's not even. You know what, mate? Let's just add some context to this one. The rest of us weren't really bothered about doing a pod tonight. But Jay went, "No, come on, lads. Let's do a pod.
Did Luke, who's now not here.
Right, fair enough. You're in the driving seat. You crack on. So you've done the poll. You've done this. You've done that. You've done all there, and you are 100% in control. So you crack on, my friend.
Well, you're doing the poll tonight.
These surprises on us.
You're doing the poll tonight. You can sell
off. Shit, though. You've done it.
Listen, mate. I asked for options, and then went with what was said. Nobody piped up. I don't want to hear it. If you're going to leave me to my own devices, then stuff's going to be crap, innit? It's just
you
how
should
it
never
is.
be left to your own devices. Anyway.
I'm just going to sit here and say nothing, lads. This is fucking hilarious. Go on, carry on.
James, throwing some shade my way.
Somebody's just diagnosed me as a psychotic person that needs constant care and attention. But we'll go on to the predictions, which I'm quite happy about this week.
Mm.
There was just one person who got a correct score. Who were that?
Fans.
It was me. It was Positive J. Finally,
this is never going to end, is it?
No, I'm now a footballing genius. So
come here. Just to touch on that, is that the first time anyone's got an actual correct result this season so far?
No, I don't think. No,
apart from the fans.
No, Stat's got like 3 in a row, didn't he, or something? That's why he was right at the top. Yeah, I think so. Because they were down in the slums with me and Jay. Yeah, but they've both left me now. It's just me.
It's just you, Render, Rex, and me.
Yeah, Rex is below me.
Oh.
Now, because I'm super organised, I can't remember what Gilly actually said about what points everyone got, but I think he said everyone.
I have it.
One.
Everyone's got one, barring you.
I got 5. So that leaves us with, at the bottom of the table, Rex himself. He likes being on the bottom. So I've heard. Smarty, you're next. You've dragged yourself up from down there. You're 4 points ahead on 14.
Only 1 point behind 4 others, might I add.
2.
Or 2 points. 2 points.
Behind 3 others.
2 points. 2 points in.
So next we've got, with 16 points, we've got Render, Cy Johnson, and we've got good old Gail Platt there on 16 all. Bren on 21, Gilly on 22, myself now level with Mad Adam, who's still lingering there like a bad smell, and I'll tell him that when I see him next, on 23 points. Then we've got Luke on 24, Stats in second on 26, and the fans getting away up there, 27. They've got to be reined in.
Are they top at league?
They are top of the
They're
league.
top of the league.
Right, Brendan's Ghost, you're bad.
These people, come on here.
Everyone
Come on
else.
in and giving out these predictions, man. They're spoiling it for us. Absolutely spoiling it.
Yeah. Sure, isn't it all a bit of crack anyway at the end of the day?
It is, mate. It is. And we love a bit of interaction. So even if we're a little bit bitter about it, we'll not moan too much.
I'm not too bitter about it, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I'm hovering just above the relegation zone there, so I'm okay with it. Considering I don't pick at them, I'm doing all right. Doing better than Smarty.
That is true, because I don't have the full.
Do you know what it is?
Full info.
I haven't been as brutally, savagely honest as I would do normally, especially last season when I nearly won. I'm pretty much gone for Leeds will do all right this season. Leeds will do all right. It's just fucking completely backfired.
Yeah.
I knew we'd get absolutely steamrolled by Liverpool and City. I'll still back Leeds, and it's just not the way to go, is it? Let's be honest. So
just do what Gilly did last year and just draw the shit out of everything.
It's boring, that, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're trying to actually win it, then you've got to be a bit more subjective, haven't you? Objective, sorry. But your heart won't let you do that when you're a Leeds fan. You're all in. There's games where you think, some people you see them, they bet on the other team, don't they? So that if we lose, at least there's like a little sort of sweetener. But I can't even bring myself to do that, mate. I just can't. I couldn't take any pleasure in it in any kind of sense. So I'm never able to back against Leeds.
I'm so committed to that cause, I don't even back them for fear that I jinx the shit out of it. That's how committed to the cause I am.
We've all jinxed the shit out of everything this year, mate. So you're in good company. Do you know what I mean? We're all wins left, right, and centre, and we were getting absolutely steamrolled. So
maybe when we're safe, I'll start predicting. But that could, we could finish 17th at that rate.
Bloody hell! I tell you what, we'll be keeping an eye out on that. Then we'll hold you to that, Carl. We'll hold you to that.
Sound.
And if you have a good run of predictions, then we're going to blame you for not predicting sooner.
Yeah.
Well, I predicted once this year already, and we got beaten by Newcastle. So.
Well, it's probably best that you don't say it.
Yeah. That's why I'm staying quiet, and all you're doing is calling me out on it. So I'll just sit here and say, "Fuck,
you bastard." Yeah, it's all good fun, mate. It's all good fun.
Chelsea are 1-0 up anyway. The douchebags.
Right, here we go. Stats 2. Fucking hell.
Stats 2. What?
Let's turn it into a Champions League pod again for the second week in a row.
All right, okay. Well, fucking hell.
You're lucky I'm not controlling it tonight.
I'd be gone, would I?
As soon as you mentioned Chelsea, they just cut you off. That'd have been I'm just looking at the buttons here because I'm trying to make sure I press the right things today. But I was just thinking we don't have one, do we, for the last game sort of chat? Gilly's let us down there. He's made other stuff, but he never made one for that.
Not really.
Yeah. But I mean, last game. Let's move on to that and see what you lads thought of it. Smarty, what do you reckon? Good performance, bad performance?
This is where I'm going to be quite boring because I wasn't in the country. I was away, and the only thing I have seen, apart from seeing a few tweets and stuff like that, is the highlights on Match of the Day, which obviously don't give a true reflection of how the events unfolded. It's usually quite biased towards other teams and all that sort of stuff to make it good viewing. So I don't know is the honest truth.
Fair enough.
Cool.
I've seen the goals. I thought the second 2 goals were absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Rodrigo's egg on face and Harrison's were a cracking finish, to be fair, but I can't possibly give a full account of it because I've not seen it. And like I say, to go on what Match of the Day cover and what they talk about in that, I remember going back to Burnley match and we absolutely dicked Burnley and they were fucking shit. And they made out like Trippier were next best frigging right back in the world and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Had been turned inside out all over the place. So I couldn't possibly say. But apparently we were shit until we scored the second goal. Or it was very 50-50 until we scored the second goal. Maybe you can enlighten me, chaps.
Well, I mean, me and Carl watched it together, didn't we, Carl? So if he can remember much more than I can, then I'll let him get involved.
Well, like I think when we were watching it, we looked at the first 20 minutes and we didn't really know where a pass was going, a actually completed pass was going to come from for a long time, like, because it was very, very sloppy. And then I thought once we got the goal, we did kind of settle down a bit. But again, I think it's just like people have said, it's new system. It's understanding that you're not meant to be as out wide as used to be, and trying to get their head around, I think, pressing the way we're starting to press now rather than following your man. I think that'll all take its time, you know. Yeah, absolutely.
But shit, then, is what you're saying.
Like, I didn't see. I said to Jay and Luke that were here, I said I genuinely didn't see where a goal was coming from for the first 20 odd minutes. It was very difficult to kind of hold on to the ball for some bizarre reason. Cooper had a good go at Llorente a couple of times for either not moving to a pass and letting it run by him or just being out of position. So just having Cooper back in there, being able to bollock someone to, just to get a rocket up their arse, really. Like, I think we've been lacking that. I know, like, people's opinions of Cooper might be whatever, like, but at the end of the day, when you see a performance like that, where he's bollocking players and he's proper giving it to Llorente at one point, like, and even Melia, he even gave it to Melia Goodo in the first half as well.
It's about time someone stuck it to him because
absolutely
thinking about it too long.
Yeah, and like it's just difficult as well because we don't have that spine of the team, and with Calvin coming in, it was kind of.
I'd like Bremner's Ghost to elaborate slightly on that. Looked like we were passing to the old system for much of the game. That to me says that we were Bielsa-esque, where we were pinging balls left, right, and centre, and it were good football. Now, is that right?
What he means by that is we're playing passes to places where people would be in the Bielsa system, but they weren't even there.
Yeah, when I mentioned that, the players seemed like they were either going out wide and then realizing that they needed to be more narrow.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe what Bremner's Ghost means as well. Like, because the way we're playing now at the moment, it is very, very narrow. Like, it's like get the ball, move to the goal as quick as possible down the middle and see what happens. But I think, like with Bremner's Ghost, I think he I don't know if he's saying the same thing as me, as same with Jay. Like, but I just think once we got a hold of the ball and started passing it around, I thought, we could easily win it. But I just think that the first 25 minutes was awful hard to watch. I don't know what it was like.
You used to see that quite regularly, though, in Championship and obviously, to some degree in Premier League in the first season we were back, when teams had come at us for 20 minutes. It was very, very a common theme. You guys must know this as well. In the first 20 minutes, every team in Championship used to go hammer and tongue against us, to try and get at least score early, and then they could, kind of park the bus and try and play out a win from there. A lot of teams used to try and do that. So, were there an element of that, you think? Maybe? Possibly. Then pressing us, maybe trying to obviously stifle us slightly. And I mean, I feel like I'm interviewing you, but it's because I've not really seen the game, that's all. So
I don't think it was like that. I just think we put ourselves under unnecessary pressure by not completing passes. And then
really.
Yeah, but the only reason they were able to press so hard on us then was because they knew our passes were going astray. Like, it wasn't due to anything we were doing. They were doing well. Yeah. It was more that we were just doing what we were doing badly.
Do you not think that his passing's been off all season though?
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I know obviously we go back to what Bremner's Ghost said about, it's hard to shake off 3.5 years of hard work and all that sort of stuff. We've always said, Bielsa ball were like a sixth sense sort of football where people could pass. You could play blindfolded. It were like, what is it? Bloodsport when is it blindfolded? Is he blinded in Bloodsport or whatever? And you can't see anything, but all that sort of stuff. It's like that sixth sense. You could pass it and you'd know that player would be there. We didn't see that. Well, very rarely did we see that this year.
No, we haven't really seen that. To be fair,
it's been really sloppy football. I
mean, I agree with what Bremner's Ghost said. There was an element that you could see they were playing balls out to places where they want anyone. But the passing in general has been poor. Can't argue with that.
Yeah. You guys seen a stat float about Twitter somewhere, Twitter as it is at the minute. Ayling's pass success rate were about 50% or something.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Hell.
That's unreal, isn't it?
When you expect players like him that have usually got a rate up in the 80s, high 80s, all the team have got high 80s. To see stats like that, you just think, friggin' hellfire. You got boots made of bloody jelly or what?
That just reiterates what we were saying about the first 20-25 minutes. Like it's just like I wouldn't watch any 90 minutes of that again. To be fair, like
you say we didn't have the first year to play like that, but the professional footballers and the play one particular system, they should all be able to pass a ball to each other freely.
Yeah,
I always maintain that
it's not down to just first team players being able to pass the ball around.
I always maintain that to be a professional footballer, you must have a certain level of skill and ability. So being able to pass to someone 10, 15 yards away should be like right up top at list of what you're capable of. So that I'll never not be.
It should be blindfolded.
Yeah.
I'll never. You know what I mean? Just because it's your first 11 doesn't mean that your reserves or your bench are allowed to go. A few passes straight as bollocks. You should be able to pass on a fucking absolute end of a frigging. I nearly got a bit crude then. Knock it to someone 30 yards on a 5p piece. That's with the professional footballers in Premier League. This isn't Championship League One shit. They should be fucking on it. You know what I mean?
I didn't expect Championship players to be able to.
Exactly. That's what I mean. I mean, we're all amateur footballers. We've all played amateur football. Even the level I still play at now. We've got some old guys that can knock a ball around. Literally to end of your foot.
Yeah,
these guys are getting paid thousands and thousands of pounds a week. There's no excuse for poor sloppy football. Sorry,
absolutely not.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's one thing to be outplayed by a team, innit? But it's another to undo yourself and just not be able to pass to each other and put yourself under pressure. And I mean, there's Mellier's distribution as well. Everything else he does is fantastic, but his distribution puts us in the shit sometimes. And when everyone else is struggling as well, it's just it's a recipe for disaster, isn't it?
You don't know what he's been told to do, though, do you?
No, you don't.
It's one of them. Like you hear Jesse Marsch is having his team slow football down and being a little bit more controlled and a little bit slower and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't stand screaming. Who did we play last at home? Southampton. When there were a quick outlet to wing, Rodrigo himself, like that. That normally, last season there'd have been a ball straight out to him from his arm, straight out to him.
Yeah, but now I remember that exact moment.
It's a lot slower. It's a lot.
Why are you holding on to it?
Come on,
get it moving.
Yeah.
Everyone around me was saying. He's been told to do things differently, hasn't he?
Go on, Carl.
I like we did mention that I think on the pod after the Southampton game, and like like these players are going to take time to kind of bed into this system as well. Like I think we'll see more benefits of it.
Fucking Sean Dyche's act, Brenda goes.
Go up top to Big Lump.
Long.
I can understand that part about not being a fan of passing back to keeper and passing across the box, but I also don't want to just see us boot it. But go on, Cal. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I just like we do like you can understand the frustration when people see Dallas there on the wing, but it's not what he's need. It's not what he's been asked to do. So we just need to kind of realize that and just kind of get on with it now at the moment, like because there's no other options. He's here now, and this is a style of football we should get used to. Same with any team. Like Wolves were the same when Nuno left. Totally different style of football. Took them ages to kind of get going under that Jorge. What's his face?
Jorge, what's his face?
Yeah, it took them. It took them.
Jorge Cheeto.
Yeah, it took them ages to get going. Like the start of the season, they were they were mucked, like.
Yeah,
And
they turned
now
into
they're challenging.
didn't they?
Yeah, well, now they're challenging for Europa League, like. But like we just need to be like. This is kind of the same as when Bielsa came in. Everyone shit themselves when they saw the back four passing it across the 18-yard box. The one thing you're told as a kid never ever to fucking do is pass it across your own 18-yard box. But our arses fell out when we saw that for the first time. Like, this is another style of football that we just have to try and
It's
get used to now.
exciting, though, isn't it? See,
It is.
I miss that. I miss the danger of holy Jesus Christ, you know.
Yeah, I do as well.
It's just crazy, and I miss it. I do miss it. And, you know, and
You want to see more Cruyff turns from Melier, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you never know. Like,
it's about going and enjoying yourself, not watching benign, boring fucking wind kick it.
Yeah, but see, the thing is as well, like, this might only be a quick fix for Jesse Marsch, you know what I mean, to keep us up. And then in the summer, when he gets players in that he wants, he can implement the style in a more aggressive manner.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe we will get that whole my arse has fallen out because we played it across the 18-yard box at some point next year when the style of play is embedded into the players, you know?
I don't think we will. And I hope you're right, but I don't think we will. From stuff I've seen already, they're already booting ball out into the stands, which they would have never done, you know, normally. We're Bielsa widows, aren't we? And it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I wish you'd do this and we should do that. We've just got to accept that those days are over now and this is a new style of football and it's not going to please everyone. It's a safer way. If it keeps us in Premier League, then fair enough. But, you know, there's a little element of me thinking, you know.
Stuart Dallas put it perfectly on his Instagram. He said, look, a win's a win, even when it's ugly or something to that effect. I think we need to start getting used to those kind of wins under Jesse Marsch and the style of football.
It's a shame, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
From what we've watched to watching, you know, plucky and scrappy wins and fucking hell. I'm not all for it. Hopefully, hopefully he can implement his you know, his style and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. You know, especially in the off season and all that sort of thing, and we can kick on, get some new players and all that sort of stuff for next season. But
it's a weird one, isn't it? Because on paper, if you could have had sort of Bielsa's attacking style, but Marsch's defence, you know, that would be great. But because Bielsa played the system, he played with the man's man, you wouldn't get the same attacking style because somebody else covers a man when another guy's gone forward, and it's you know,
and it's easy for it's easy for us to sit here and you know, try and pull it apart and stuff like that. At the end of the day, the objection is to survive, and you know, they're going to do it like you said, Carl. You know, Dallas has said it might be ugly or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's a win. Now, if it carries on this sort of similar style into the Premier League, you know, next season, should I say, then my opinion of the matter might change. But for now, it'll do.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one. Sorry, Carl, go on.
But like I was saying earlier, that whole style could be completely different if he gets players in that he wants in certain positions. You see,
exactly, yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it could have just adapted to fit what we've got, you know, for now.
Yeah, like apparently he's after some £38 million player in the summer. They've given the green light. I don't know who that is. It's not Aranison because he's going for like 15 or 20. Or something. Oh, what's his name?
Aronson. There you go, Gilly. There's your word.
Aranison, he said. Fucking Aranison. Got an extra O in there for lad.
And here's me looking at those Irish names going, they're fucking easy. What are you talking about, lads? And I can't, you know.
There you go.
Typical, isn't it? Typical.
Needed that little bit of Irish twist.
That's right.
There you go.
Why not? Why the fuck not?
I'll tell you what, the one thing I'm just thinking is like, you know, despite sort of concerns about the style, maybe, no one's really going to be too upset if we're getting the results and we survive. And to be able to go into a game that was that scrappy and that shit and walk out 3-0 winners with a clean sheet is a good sign. You know, it's showing that we're capable of doing the right things and we are capable of winning shit games. And at one point, we didn't look capable of winning any games. So I'm not going to complain about that.
I'm not complaining. I just, I'm just talking about the style play.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, hey, at the end of the day, the objective is to stay in the Premier League, and it's, you know, far be it from us to start judging Jesse Marsch and all that sort of stuff at this early stage. But
yeah,
there is other, obviously, you know, contributing factors like the opposition and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, Wolves aside, We've not really been tested that much yet. I think when we play teams like Chelsea and again Man City, I think there'll be a few. But whatever. Shit happens. As long as we stay in the frigging Premier League, who gives a shit? It's just obviously.
I'm just glad we got the points on the board that we've got on the board now before them games.
Yeah, me too.
Like even Crystal Palace away is going to be a difficult game. Like
whoever came in, it was going to be a tough gig for whoever. To replace Marcelo Bielsa, who we've been all literally in awe of for the last fucking 4 seasons. It were a hell of a task, and you wouldn't wish it on anyone, would you? But he seems to. I like the way he talks. I'm reserving judgment on his style of play and all that sort of stuff, until it's properly bedded in. But I like the guy. I like the way he speaks to the media. I like the way he portrays his visions and all that sort of stuff. So fair play to him.
Yeah. He certainly comes across well. You can't argue with that. And he's very honest when he talks. He doesn't sort of pull any punches. He seems to be telling us the truth when he sort of explains stuff to us. And I get the feeling he's quite sort of straightforward, quite upfront, which, I'm never going to be upset about that as long as he can back it up with results. I mean, it's all good and well speaking well and coming across well, but if you don't get the results and the football's shite, then you're not going to last 2 minutes, are you?
Yeah, but it is the way, like, just touching on what you were saying, the way he talks and approaches and says things. I think that shows in how the players have reacted to him as well. Like, look at Rodrigo, absolutely nearly a different player.
100%.
Coming in and like just to give him that bit of responsibility is sometimes that kind of communication between a coach and a player is vital for a player's development and performance, so you're right.
For anyone else who's listening via the audio podcast and stuff, like Jay's just gone to get his drugs front door. Oh, he's back now.
I didn't want to be meowed to death, sorry.
I've just been telling the listeners and viewers where you've been. Keeping up to date
with the Kardashians, I think we've a lot to see from Jesse Marsch yet. There's no way we can judge him now. I'd rather us win ugly than get spanked playing pretty football. See, the problem there is that even when we were getting spanked, we weren't playing pretty football.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is a cracking point. Yeah,
different last season playing pretty football. There was that side of it, but this season it hasn't been pretty. Even when we've been getting
100%, mate. It's like last season, even when we were getting dicked by like bloody scum and Liverpool, you knew, and even they knew there were an element of, hold on, we need to be really careful here because they could really bite us an ass and come back at us, which we did, many times. Yeah. This season it's just been dross, hasn't it? Yeah. So there's never been it hasn't been pretty football this year. We've not seen pretty football in any sort of fucking type this year.
We've barely seen football. We've just seen like people running around on a field where there happens to be a ball.
We've had good moments. We've had good little moments, but as a complete performance, I don't think. Well, we haven't had one this year.
Well, there were no game management whatsoever, were there? Before
maybe West Ham, when we beat West Ham, that was a good performance, but not complete. But there's been a couple of bits, haven't there? But on a whole,
just saying, all Rodrigo wanted is to be allowed to follow his striker's instincts. He wants to be looking to get the ball at his feet, not be chasing a midfielder in a man marking role.
Yeah, just that freedom of play. No, he looks like he's been given a lot more freedom under Marsch, which is nice to see, and you'd like to see that in your marquee signing.
He's an attacking player again rather than an all-round player.
I've said it. What have I said for ages? Play a fucking player in their position and they'll probably perform a little bit better. And that's no dissing Bielsa. Don't anyone jump in here now and put me at the back post or anything. But when you play players in their position, they did it last year. But Rodrigo last year.
It's one of them. So we had that blind sort of belief in Bielsa where we think, whatever he decides is fine by us. When really we needed to probably be a little bit more.
Can't speak.
Critical. I just proper got a little bit tongue tied there, didn't I?
Critical of his decisions.
They were wrong, and he should have had players that he did have on the bench at the time and stuff like that. Even the youth academy lads that he should have played in their positions rather than having a senior man playing completely out of position, or 3 or 4 to accommodate one other. It's just when you think about it, really, you just think, come on, you fucking. that were a mistake. He shouldn't have been doing that shit. But it's easy.
Yeah.
Like,
there was
I'm
a couple
surprised some of the kids wanted to go out on loan and stuff. I'm really not.
Well, like there was a couple of games this year where, like when he had to change a centre back when Cooper came off from his last injury, he had Cresswell on the bench.
Yeah,
just put him on. Like he made an absolute donkey out of Antonio in 2 games. Like he marked him out of each game. No bother to him. Why not just stick him on? Instead, we have to rotate 4 players, lose our impetus, and then take us 10
Didn't
minutes.
you move Ailing?
Completely moving Ailing constantly, and then it was just shite, wasn't it?
Like,
I love Ailing, but
he was forever faithful to his players that he had on his favourite starting 11. He were faithful to them, and didn't want to see them sort of not rotting on the sidelines, but not getting any game time, I suppose. But really, from a manager, he should be making the right decisions and thinking, well, actually, if I'm willing to play the youth, if I'm willing to stick him in at some point, then at least put him in a position where they're probably going to be more effective than sticking a right winger at frigging left back or whatever.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's just bizarre, and it's like it smacks of trying to be too clever at times and too much trust in players. Just because someone has served you well and they've been consistent in their own position doesn't justify keeping them on the pitch in a different position. For me, you play the hand you've got. If you've got a player for that position, put him on. You can't be talking about, he's not very experienced, Cresswell, so maybe it wasn't the right time for him. How is he going to get experienced if you don't get brought on? That's your opportunity to step up as a young player when something happens and somebody's injured. That should be your chance. You should be given a chance to take that chance, so to speak. And I don't think that happened at times. And there were a lot of players wanting to go out on loan, as we've seen. And I mean, look how good Greenwood's been since he's come on a couple of times for Marsch. And I didn't think he had that in him, if I'm completely honest.
There is a player in there, and I think he was given a good opportunity on Saturday, and he took it.
Yeah,
he has an assist for Harrison for the goal, nearly an assist for
Rodrigo as well, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Like apart from
officially,
but
that would be great though.
But like he is a good player to have on the pitch when you get a free kick. If Raf isn't on, like he's scored some unbelievable free kicks for the under-23s. So why not? Why not?
Good. Yeah, he's done some crackers, hasn't he?
Yeah,
we've got a lot of youth that are really good. We
have
Greenwood, Gellart, Somerville. I mean, everyone's been keeping their eyes on Drama and stuff down at Cardiff, and do you still class Shackleton as youth? Probably not, but he's still a young kid and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of really talented young players. So Cresswell, obviously, another one. The future's bright, but we can't rely on under-23s all the time. We need more players. We need better quality players.
Definitely. Just playing the under-23s in the right positions doesn't cover up not having enough first-team players.
Oh, no, yeah.
But when they do get those opportunities, they should get a chance to take them. So I said about Somerville coming on as well, that's a reward for how well he played in the 23s, and there should be a reward when you put in a good performance. There should be an opportunity of a step up.
I don't think any of the 23s have played badly when they've got their opportunity.
No.
I think they were just thrown in. They were put in at the wrong times, potentially, because of the situation we found ourselves in regarding injuries. If they're coming on for players that have got us to 2-0, 2-3-1 up or whatever, it's a different kind of game for them to come into. And it's been a tough season for them to kind of be embedded into the first... Well, being embedded into the first team squad's not difficult because that's done in training, but to try and embed yourself into the match day squad and then come on in games where we haven't been performing and we haven't kind of, played to the best of our ability. It's tough for an underage player to come on like that.
It is, yeah. It's hard to be slapped on arse for 5 minutes ago and told, get on and make a difference.
Yeah, and I think the only one that's really taken that in his stride where he's been coming on late has been Jaffe.
Yeah.
But that's because he's the only one that's had the opportunities because of how he's performed when he has come on.
Yeah.
But it's been a difficult season for the 23s, I think, in relation to getting bedded in to the match day squad to really make an impression for themselves, because you're relying on your first team squad, essentially, your first 11 to get you out of the shit so that the under 23s can actually get on and have a decent game of it, But
yeah,
I think there'll be a lot more opportunities for them moving along anyway, me personally.
I would like it if we managed to sort of mathematically secure safety before the end of the season. If he gave him a bit of a chance to play in a couple of games, to be honest. Just a couple of games where Joffrey gets to start, a couple of games where Cresswell gets to start. I'd love to see that. Maybe Lewis Bate gets a couple of games.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get a few more games, to be honest with you.
Well, what 'twas like in the season.
Yeah.
If we've got like 2 or 3 games left and we're safe, then I won't mind seeing a couple of young lads get in. I don't want to throw away a chance of finishing higher in the league and all that, but at the same time, when do you give these lads a chance? You've got to do it when you can.
Realistically, though, they're only ever going to get a chance if someone's missing from that position. We're seeing Greenwood and Gallagher a lot more because Bamford's not there. I mean, you talk about Lewis Bate and stuff, and I'm only playing devil's advocate here. I think we've got a really good crop of young lads, but who's Lewis Bate going to, realistically replace? Phillips, Forshaw, Click, like I said, maybe towards the end of the season when, hopefully safety's, tucked in the belt and we're away, and maybe, Marsch wants to explore other options and see, how those players, perform in them sort of circumstances, then maybe so. But realistically, lads, let's be honest, the only way we're going to ever see him is if they're replacing an injured player.
And that's normal at most clubs, isn't it?
That's, which is fair enough.
That's the way of things. Some players will get them chances and they'll make it, and some won't, and they'll drift away. It's just, that is
nature of football, isn't it? That's what it is.
But again, like, it goes back to the thing, like they're coming on for an injured player, but they're coming on in a game where it's 1-1. That's a lot of pressure. Like, I know they should be ready, and I know if you're old enough, if you're good enough, you're old enough and all that jazz. But when a club like us have been out of the Premier League for so long, and then this season is where we've been kind of crapping our pants a little bit for the majority of it, they're coming on and they're being told you need to go on there now and make a difference. You know what I mean? Like, look at City; they can bring on the likes of if
millions of pounds worth of players.
their bench is stronger than our fucking first team nearly. Like,
they're bringing Foden off the bench some days.
Yeah,
Grealish.
There's a massive difference. Like,
all kinds of superstar players. We're sat there with 15-year-old Archie Gray on bench,
who captained England in that tournament in the Netherlands. Actually, fair play to him.
Yeah, he did.
But anyway, should we move along anyway?
Well, one last thing I wanted to say, because we kind of deviated away from the game. I was just going to ask what you thought of the goals, just to wrap that up.
All great finishes, if I'm being perfectly honest. I thought if Rodrigo didn't score his one, it would have been a penalty, because Ben Foster had a lump of his shirt.
Absolutely.
So if he didn't put that away, I was thinking that's a penalty. But
VAR don't look at stuff like that for us. So
completely.
So that's a whole other pod.
Raf's were a good goal, wasn't it? Raf's were well taken. To be honest, I don't really know how he's got to be in there at his near post, because he was literally on a couple of yards away.
I don't know why
if that were Melier, he'd be fucking strung up over Twitter again because he's only this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. He should have saved that quite easily. When end of the day, sometimes it's just a little bit of quality and you can't get anywhere near it. So,
but look at how Raf had the ball. Right, he had the ball at his feet. 9 times out of 10, Raf's putting that in the far corner. And he's whipped it so much with his left foot that he's brought it around, and that's what caught Foster off guard. For me, that's caught him off guard.
You just can't predict that sort of quality.
Exactly, yeah.
We're arcing back to the previous pod and stuff like that with Ward-Prowse and stuff like that, but he's so good at what he does. You don't have a clue where he's going to put a ball. And it's exactly the same with 9 times out of 10, exactly the same with the quality of the Premier League. You've no idea where they're going to shoot from. Exactly. Because they know where you're going to probably think, right, that keeper thinks I'm going to be shooting that way. I'm going to drill it to his near side. That's Premier League. Yeah, but Harrison's were fucking mint. I love how Jack Harrison hits a ball. It
was a confident finish. That it was just like bang. I'm doing
it. Was like Newcastle at home last year when he drilled that. I think it went 4th goal. He drilled it. He ran from in our own half, and he ran full length at pitch and drilled it from about 20, 25 yards out. Top right.
He's a completely different player when he gets a bit of confidence in him, isn't he?
Yeah.
So like, he can do
that. There was no follow through with that shot either. It was just like he got all the backlift, and then once he hit it, man, his foot stopped dead, and you could see once he hit it with the laces, you just knew.
You knew
it. When they stay at the same height, bang.
That's it, yeah. Like if
gives me a
he'd
bit of a twinge. I'm going to be honest. It gives me a little bit of a twinge. In fact, laptop. I'm thinking about it now. A laptop might start rocking a little bit.
I do
was
like
nice.
them, man. Yeah,
It was a nice finish.
It was a brilliant finish, to be fair. But
I love the fact that Raf's again hit the post like every time he hits a ball towards goal, but went in this time, and it was just out of nothing. He just turned around, bang, there it goes. And I'll tell you something, that were very Pablo-esque.
Can't say the same about the celebration now, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Our players need to be banned from celebrating.
Yeah.
Because it's just a disaster every time.
We're moving on to Paul then.
If you're going to force me, Smarty, I'll stop talking. Go on. You forced me on.
I'm going
to do my little thing. Are you ready this time? Because I'm going to go to you this time.
Okay.
Twitter poll results.
Take it away, Smarty.
Right. Well, normally it's my poll, but today it's Jay's poll. And in today's poll, which we ask the listeners, anyone who's on Twitter and all that sort of stuff, to vote via our Twitter channels, to vote for the subject of the main pod. So this week, we have Vultures circling Calvin, potential new contract. Where should the club be aiming to finish next term? Captain Fantastic, Cooper's influence, and a well-run ship, club accounts. And the winner with 35% of the vote is Calvin and the potential new contract and other virtues. Vultures circling around him, looking to grab a bit of a bargain, maybe. I don't know. What's your thoughts around Calvin Phillips and a potential new contract and also maybe a potential new club, lads?
Well, I'll tell you something. He ain't going to be going to Scum. I'll guarantee that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It sounds like he's all in for signing a new deal, as far as I've heard from everything I've seen and everything that's been reported. I saw something that said he's only on 30 grand a week or something. Newcastle want to give him a 300% pay rise. I'm not having that.
No,
he got a new contract about a year ago, didn't he?
He's had a few more new contracts. He'll have been on 30 grand a year towards end of sort of championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Time, when Villa tried to take him to the Premier League, that's a lot of bollocks.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure when he started playing for England, he then signed a new deal.
Yeah.
And you're not paying an England international midfielder 30 grand, are you?
He signed a new deal while we were in Championship. He signed a new deal when we, like you say, got into the Premier League and he got made into England squad and stuff like that. And now it's probably like his fourth or fifth contract he's going to be on. And he's still got a couple of years on this one existing anyway. So for someone to say that he's on 30 grand a week, fucking hell, Bamford were on 20 grand a week in Championship in 2018.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it could probably go to certain clubs and get 150, 200k a week if he wanted. But I believe that Leeds are they're going to be offering some at 100k plus, aren't they?
Who knows? It's all about what. It's one of them. It's all about whether we maintain our Premier League status.
That's
what they can offer. I mean, I suppose that maybe the club are holding back just to see where their position is at the end of the season. I know that I've heard that Calvin's obviously changing agents as well. I don't know how true that is. It's just hearsay.
Yeah,
so who knows? But the club and him, I probably want to see what their options are towards the end of the season because it's pointless him signing a new deal now. Because he's still got a couple of years left and all that sort of stuff. Unless they wanted to bring in some dirty, great big release clause, then maybe so. But I don't know.
I think it might be worth a big release clause on him just to stop bullshit bids every summer.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. Yeah, I was just going to say what Jay said there. It might be worth our while just to put a massive bloody get out clause on it. Like massive if we're in the Premier League. If someone wants them, you're talking 85, 90 million, no less.
I've gone above that.
You've got to think about the player as well and the player's best interest because if you do put a humongous, buyout clause, you've got to have two, haven't you? You've got to have one if we maintain Premier League status and someone wants to come in and put him from I don't know, Barcelona, not Scum because but you never know, Scum might come in for it. And then obviously there'll be a release clause that if we do get relegated to Championship, then it's going to have to be somewhat smaller to say the least. But obviously to lift him from us, because he's not going to want to come down to Championship, you won't expect him to.
If we went down, I'd still want 50.
I don't think you'd get 50, mate. I think you'd
You
scrape
probably
20.
will, but I'd want it.
Yeah, but it's one of them, innit? He ain't gonna go and play in Championship.
See, the thing is, Smarts, like what Jay
Depends
said,
how hard he pushes, doesn't it?
50 mil in the Championship is still very good, because just because Leeds get relegated, look at where he's been all season. Sure, he's missed half the season, like, but it doesn't make him any worse of a player than he was when we were in the Championship or in the Premier League. You know,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it would do, because we all know how good Calvin Phillips is.
Yeah.
But the status of the the status of the club changes. You're not a Premier League team anymore, and if you're a Premier League team with a world class talent like Calvin Phillips, you demand big money. If you slip a league into Championship, players aren't going to go for that as much as they would do if they were in the Premier League. They won't do, regardless of whether you'd probably have a bit of a battle, and you're probably right. You probably would get about 50 million from it. But if someone came in for 50 million now, you'd fucking laugh them out at bloody meeting room, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, you would. Yeah. Well, we did, didn't we, when West Ham came in?
So it's one of them. We don't know. We're not involved in that sort of stuff. Who knows? You can play bloody Football Manager and FIFA all you want. You still aren't going to know what that sort of stuff is.
See, what makes me think Jay is right about the 50 million is that, look at apparently the offers that were being made from before he was even an England international. 30 million in the Championship. An England international now, and he's definitely, even if he is a Championship player before he goes, he's still a 50 million pound player. Like, players' stock rises, it doesn't fall regardless of the league you're in. So if he was worth 30 million before he's an England international, he's definitely worth another 20 million if we, touch wood, we won't, if we ever went down. Like, his stock is rising regardless of the division we're in.
Yeah,
and he's still only like
25.
But
also, the club finances are falling, and that's what you've also got to, contribute to that. The element of the club won't want to pay 150 grand to a Championship player.
Of course.
So they will look at options of shipping him out.
The contracts will probably have clauses in for if you go.
Yeah, of course they will do. But then it's a completely different conversation to have with Calvin Phillips, who don't want to take a wage cut and all that sort of stuff. So, like you say, you're right, but there's everything else to consider as well, which it would definitely 100% reduce the asking price for Calvin Phillips, 100%. But all being well, he'll still be with us because we're going to stay in Premier League. Well, Rafinha is a different kettle of fish, but
no.
But the whole Rafinha to Barcelona thing as well, like it was like what Bayern did in January as well, to get what's his face to sign a new deal. I'm not even going to attempt names anymore. You know who the fuck I'm talking about.
Lewandowski.
Yeah, or the other, whoever else.
They were trying to get Kingsley Coman to sign a
deal. That's
the
one, yeah. And then they did the same at Barca, where they just wanted Dembele to sign a new contract, and they threatened him with getting Raf in.
Yeah.
If that's what clubs are doing to get their best players to sign, I like, if I was Raf, I'd be like, if I'm not worth buying, don't use me as bait.
Don't come back bait
for you. Like, don't come back in for me again, because that shows a serious lack of respect.
I don't think anyone's been in for him out there, really. It's all just been paper talk and hearsay. And
it has been paper talk.
You're a fucking dickhead on Twitter, tweeting a few things, which I'm sure must get money from agents and clubs to just tweet a little bit of this, tweet a little bit of that, fluff it up and make it look sexy. And it gets people talking, doesn't it? It gets it out there.
Get a little backhander. Oh, just say this. Just say that so and so.
Here's 100 grand here. Just go and tweet a load of bollocks and people will believe.
I'm going to say, I don't think they'll give him that kind of money, but when you look at them fees today,
you know what I mean.
See what they quoted for Haaland, something like 70 million in agent fees. It's a deal that's been put together by one of the clubs that wants him. So, like, 100 grand, it's a drop in ocean, isn't it? It's like, oh, yeah, here you go. Just get that name out there so I can get me tens of millions in commission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're in wrong jobs, lads.
But as far as clubs coming in for Calvin, then, if he was to go, maybe, where do you think he would go?
Well, it depends who comes in, doesn't it?
I mean, we all wouldn't want to see him go, but if you had to pick one team for him to go to, be waving him off into the sunset with your white handkerchief, dabbing the old eyes, crying. Who would you prefer him to go to?
If I had to pick a team in the UK, then I'd go for City probably, just because he'll probably win stuff. He'll look good in that team. They don't offend me that much compared to some of the other clubs that could go for him. You know, what would be a nightmare scenario would be if we went down and only Scum came in for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd go, but it would put us in a really weird, awkward position.
That's
What do you do? You know,
that there would never only be one club in.
Yeah,
for it.
no. I'm saying that would be my nightmare. Like that'd keep me awake at night, lads. You know.
Well, like the other thing is, like, Ancelotti has come out and said he's a big admirer of him. Ancelotti's at Madrid now, like, you know.
Oh no, sorry, no, not Scum. Sorry, wrong comment. This one. If KP had to go anywhere in the UK, then Celtic.
I don't think
he might as well come to a fucking championship with us, Bremner's Ghost, because he ain't going to be going to fucking Farmers League up north.
Is he?
No.
Fuck. Don't want to
Bremner's Ghost is probably Glaswegian or Scottish, and I apologise if you are, but I'm sorry, he is not going to be going and playing Farmers League football up there, mate. Sorry.
Not a chance.
Christ alive, what a fucking backward step that'd be.
I tell you, if he went to like Serie A or something, he'd tear that up. He would be unreal in that league with that extra bit of time on ball and stuff to pick where he's putting it, and you know he can do that in a split second anyway. But that extra bit of time,
Jeremy Lee of you, Celtic. That's like being in bloody football team because your dad's manager. don't come out with the Champions League every year with Celtic. Fucking hellfire. My default fucking option at bloody Champions League. No,
one of the things that's annoyed me though, Smarty, fucking Villa fans, man. Why do they think they're getting him? I saw something today that said Gerrard's win percentage now is no better than Lampard's at Everton.
Yeah, see, I heard that as well, right? But in defence of Gerrard,
from Wakefield. You're about as Scottish as the fucking Yorkshire pudding, then. Yeah, I'm saying I've got Scottish ancestry, but still, it's Farmers League.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on, mate. Sorry.
Totally lost my train of thought with that one.
Completely gone. Sorry, buddy. I just had to respond to that one. Bremner's bloody keyboard's going to blur.
What?
Have you got it back?
A total brain fart there, like not a fucking clue. Like.
Sorry. It's a shame I can't rewind it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll revisit that at the end of season, sure.
Well, at the end of the day, he ain't going to be going to Celtic or any sort of Scottish league. If he was, someone were on about Aston Villa.
Yeah. To say that Gerrard is as bad as Lampard is a big fucking joke because Gerrard's been there a lot longer with more games played than Lampard, and Lampard we all know is just shit. So to compare apples and oranges like that is, you know. You boys are English. You should be defending Steven Gerrard here.
I agree with you.
You know, I think I just think that's an unfair comparison. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you on that. But back to sort of Villa thing, it's like they are 3 points ahead of us with a game in hand. So there could be 6 points ahead of us. That's not really progression, is it? That's not really, stepping up a level and going and playing for a top club. Alison Martin saying Celtic a championship level, Martin's Scottish team, but not for KP. There you go.
Yeah.
Fighting comments now.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Villa fans are just driving me up the wall because they're not a top club. They've done all right. They're in a decent position, but they're not really pushing on for anything at the moment. They're just getting established and trying to get solid. Fair enough. Not a problem with that. The one season ahead of us. That's it. KP.
They're only in the fucking Premier League because of a technical glitch.
They are, but that's by the by.
In Hawkeye on.
That's by the by.
It is what it is, but like I said, the sheer audacity of the Villa fan base to come at us and say, "Oh, we're going to lift him here. We're going to get Coutinho or whatever." Coutinho won't come to fucking Villa. He's just getting game time.
Newcastle going to step in and make a bid for him. That'd be hilarious.
He's getting game time at Villa because his mate Steven Gerrard's there.
That's right.
That's the only reason he went there.
That is literally the only reason. So they're getting a little bit big for the boots of Villa fans. I think they just need to be knocked down a peg or two and realise they are actually just a mid-table at best Premier League team, and they just need to wind the necks in a little bit. I think.
Like they're only 3 points ahead of us. Like I don't know what they're singing at our board for. Sell us Calvin Phillips. It's like, lads, come on. Like if we'd have beaten you there, we're ahead of you. Where the fuck is the logic there? Well, I know fuck it that or whatever, but. Like, they're only 3 points ahead. Like, I don't get
know, like,
that fucking we're better than ye. He'll love to play for us. It's like, it's his hometown club, and
There was a guy on Twitter who said something. I responded to him, but his comment was along the lines of, "If Villa want him, there's nothing you can do. If we want a player, we take him." Like, Jesus Christ, man. Are you off your meds?
Like they did when they came in for him when we were in Championship, and he decided
and he still fucked him up.
Same sort of thing.
He thought it was better for his career to stay another season in the Championship than go to Villa.
If you can sit down with all your agents and all whatnot and your manager, and you say, "No, we'll give you this, we'll give you that," and lad's grandma turns around and says, "Don't be stupid." Sorry, I'm not interested.
Stop talking. The same club that couldn't keep a player in their ranks, and he's gone to go and sit on a bench in Manchester.
Yeah,
that's
I think the difference between Phillips and Grealish is obviously position-wise, but I think Phillips gets in that team every week.
I do, yeah.
Maybe so.
I'm just going to go back to a comment that Bremner's goes.
Fernandinho's going in as well now, isn't he? So
that's
which we knew about. I always, if you remember, back in first half, so probably about December, I said we should put a cheeky bid in for Fernandinho, just to cover that Calvin Phillips role. A couple of million quid. It'd be well worth it. You know what I mean? He's an absolute quality player still at his age. I mean, he's 36, 37, but still for half a season, we could have probably got him on low.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, he'd be a decent catch to get, like,
just even on loan, just to fill that spot. I mean, he's got quality, but whatever.
Yeah, he's been good. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go to this comment from Bremner's Ghost. If Declan Rice is worth 150 mil, then it's worth Leeds paying KP 500k per week to stay. Now, I kind of get the sentiment there, but I don't think we can afford to pay that kind of money regardless. And I don't think that we'd have to, because Calvin loves the club at the end of the day. He loves playing in front of us fans, loves playing at Elland Road. It's all he's ever wanted to do. We'll definitely be able to secure him on a contract that's a bit less than what other teams are offering, just because of his love for the club, I think. The thing that pisses me off a little bit is I believe that teams are looking at Calvin as like a cut price version of Declan Rice, like, oh, well, we want Declan Rice, but Phillips is just as good and we'll only have to pay half for him. So why don't we just go and take him off Leeds? And I find that almost offensive in a way. It's just like, you're just trying to take him because you can't afford to buy Rice. So you think we'll be soft and we'll roll over and let you have him. And we're not going to do that anymore. It's been mentioned in the comments there as well. We're in profit now, the club accounts. And we did a good podcast on that on Saturday. If no one's seen it, go back and have a look. But we're in profit. We don't have to sell people just because. We don't have to be bullied by other clubs into selling our best players.
If a player wants to stay and the club don't want to sell, then people have got absolutely frigging no chance. And that's it at the end of the day. Calvin Phillips is a local lad. He's a Leeds fan. He loves the club. I'm not saying he'd be nothing without the club, but he'd probably still be in Championship if it weren't for Bielsa. Let's be truthfully honest.
Yeah.
They all would.
Wanted to sell him.
Well, yeah, they all would, wouldn't they? But Phillips certainly. I mean, you go back to when Bielsa, just before Bielsa came in, and there were Vieira and Phillips, and I'm sorry, I will quite openly hold my hands up and say if it were down to them both at that point, I would have picked Vieira 9 times out of 10 over Phillips.
I would.
Because he was just a better player than him at that point.
I don't think there's many fans that would disagree with you, lads.
There will be, obviously. No, there will be. There'll be. Oh, no,
not many.
Calvin Phillips, and he was great. I knew it. Not bad.
Where's the bet receipt that you put on it fucking 10 years ago if you knew he was going to play for England? Go on, then. Produce that if you were that confident.
That's it. Same people.
I think I've got one for Jamie Shackleton somewhere.
Have you?
If it were Jamie, yeah, I think so. I think Jamie Shackleton's an absolute fucking right player. He's
I'm not denying that.
Jamie Shackleton. He's a class player, Jamie Shackleton, and he's still young and he's still got time to make an England debut before he's 25.
25.
I think that ship sailed now, lads. So. Sorry, Jamie. I believe in you.
Go, Jamie.
Go on, Shaq.
Go, Shaq.
Shaq.
Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much the Calvin Phillips part of the poll covered, chaps.
Yeah, I will just
swiftly on.
I'm very much hoping he does sign that deal, and I think he will.
Yeah,
if you don't, Calvin, I know where you live.
I do too.
That's ominous. All right, well, we'll move on to the next bit. Then I know you lads have got something to say on this next bit, so I'm going to fire the little thing there if I can even find it, because It's low down the list.
Because you're that prepared.
Your prep work is shit, man.
I'll tell you something, right? You're all right giving me shit like this. I didn't know we were about to stop that bit. Smarty just decided that we're enough. He'd had enough of talking about it. So there you go. Silence. Or to know better.
Oh, God.
It
It don't get any better. It don't matter how many times you see that, it don't get better.
I never asked for that.
Funny. I think it's funny.
It
It spawned a new account, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it did, but like I quite like the fact that he's doing it. If we could just crop him off, like just have him, because you look at me and Gillian, that thing is just like, what the fuck's he doing? You'll see.
It's just one of them random things that I just do on the spur of the moment because I'm wacky.
No, it does, but like, look, watch me and Gilly. Watch mine and Gilly's face.
Or to know better with Rachel Adedeji.
Just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Freeze for a second. Like, what's he doing?
Like, is he doing this live?
This wasn't rehearsed.
Yeah, Britain's Got Talent auditions.
Well, you know, someone's going to have to bit voiceover when that guy pops his clogs and just throw him a hat in ring. I believe you lads have got something to talk about for this section anyway, haven't you? And it relates to TalkSport today.
Ah, yes. I'll let Carl go first.
Go on, Carl.
I think a bit of overreaction that I've seen on Twitter about what he's been saying about Bielsa and this and that, I think has been a bit over the top. Many people that I've spoken to have said the same thing about the training, perhaps. I've said it on here prior to Bielsa getting sacked. Look, he's come in, he's identified some issues that he feels are prominent issues that need fucking for them.
I need a cut.
Are you new here? I'm sure someone hacked his fucking account tonight. Honestly, they'd win it anyway. Look, it's like a pissing tidal wave.
It is.
It's just like a little ripple. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, I do think he's identified some problems that he feels might benefit the team if they're not, done anymore. And I think it's not a dig at Bielsa. It's not anything. I've said in the group chat earlier as well that Bielsa's never had a group of players for 3.5 years where he's ran them that hard for 3.5 years. I'm not saying they were burnt out, but I'm saying exhaustion can have as big an effect on a player's performance as being physically burnt out. And I just think the reaction was a bit over the top, if I'm being honest. But look, we're Leeds fans. We know what the reaction's always going to be like when someone fucking says something negative about something that some fans don't like. But I think he spoke quite well. I think when you go on TalkSport, you always leave yourself open to like that little snippet that you were talking about earlier, Jay, where they just said how he said, the training was the thing, the problem, blah, blah, blah. Look, that was maybe about a 30-second to a minute part of a 12 and a half, 14 minute. Yeah. And to take that out of context, if you haven't watched it, it's stupid. Like he's not said or anything that's derogatory towards Bielsa. He's come in and had the utmost respect for everything Bielsa's done. I just think we need to just chill. Like he's not said anything bad or anything negative. He saw something that he feels needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
And that's just not running these players as hard. That's not something that's,
Something that really irritated me about the fact they clipped that bit, Carl, is the fact that he also said in the same interview, Patrick Bamford coming back and getting injured is my fault. Like he took responsibility for that. He didn't blame it on what's happened before. He didn't say, he were broken down from what Bielsa's done to him and we should have known, He said that was my fault and now I'm trying to make sure I don't do that again, basically. And that
he said, as a manager, it's my responsibility to look after the players. And
left that bit off.
That's what I would just want to. I literally had the same sort of thought process. He contradicted himself slightly because he did say that exact same thing. I want the best from the players, that they're healthy and they're fit and all that sort of stuff. But in the same time, the same breath, risked Patrick Bamford in the state that he were in. So
well, I think there's an element of desperation in there.
Like he did speak really well, and I quite enjoyed the interview and stuff like that. But I did pick up on that. I thought, you want the best for the players, but you risked as number one striker coming back too early because he wasn't fully healed.
I mean, it's possible it's a figure of speech and that they didn't know that would happen, if you know what I mean. But he's saying...
Yeah, but he was carrying an injury. They've said he's been carrying been carrying an injury for 12 months.
But I don't think they thought it was as bad as that. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, the telltale signs were there, mate. I mean, he got injured.
Brentford. When he got the equaliser.
Like when he came back, when it Wolves, they finally... that were it. Whether we played before, fucking games have completely gone out of my head. He came off at half-time. Was it Norwich? Because he had a niggle. Now, that's not a 100% player. That's not a fully fit player. He's having niggles, so we're going to rest him. We're just being, taking precautions. And then he comes and stands on a frigging Lego brick in the middle of frigging football at Wolves, and that's it. He's out for 6 weeks.
Touches his heel.
That's a risk that he decided to take, and that's fair enough. But I didn't like that little bit where he said, I want the best from my players. I want them fully fit and happy and blah, 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 but then would risk playing Patrick Bamford when he's at, 30% fit maybe? So, but apart from that, I thought it was great.
See, the other thing is, he's probably going off what Rob Price says to him and how Bamford reacts to how they do training. And
true.
What Bamford says, Marsch probably could go to him and sit down with Rob Price and go, Rob, give me your details as to how you feel it is. Patrick, how do you physically feel? And if they both go, I'm sound, I think he's okay to play. What's Marsch meant to do with that? He's admitted his fault that he possibly brought him back, and Rob Price hasn't steered us wrong since he's been there. No. Marsch isn't going to put Bamford in there.
At the end of the day, the decision is down with the manager, like I said.
Of course. Yeah.
But he does have to go on the advice of the medical team.
Yeah, if the medical team says he's good to go and Pat Bamford goes, I'm good to go.
I don't think they would have gone, he's good to go. I think they'll have said to him, and this is obviously just us, hearsay or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he might have said to him, he's all right if he's managed correctly.
Yeah.
If he's played in bits. He's not going to go, yeah, crack on. Yeah, he's fine. Because he's clearly not fine. He clearly wasn't fine. So I don't think anyone, especially Rob Price, who's literally had to piece together frigging players since he's arrived at our club, has gone, he's fine to play. He's been completely written off by Bielsa, but you come in with a magic fucking wand and all of a sudden Patrick Bamford's ready to go. I don't think that conversation was had. But I think
I'm not saying it is, but that could potentially be what happened, and that's why he played him,
Yeah.
We don't know.
The fact that, he said that the players were overtrained and emotionally and mentally drained. Now, and said that the injuries and stuff that were partly to do with being overtrained and all that sort of stuff. Now, from what I know and from podcasts that I've listened to, from everything that we've known about Bielsa and Rob Price and from the last few years, is that 9 times out of 10, the injuries that are sustained with our players are impact injuries and not strains. Yeah. So you don't know what to fucking believe, do you? Really?
No.
We're just swallowing the bullshit because is it what Marsch wants to tell us? I mean, I fully believe Marsch would be 100% honest, but at the end of the day, fucking hell.
Do you know, it could also be Bielsa pulling the wool over our eyes in a sense that he's kind of defending his style of training and how he manages the players. And maybe a lot of them weren't impact and some of them might have been muscle, but to kind of, balance it out, he was, to justify his style of training, maybe he was trying to say, they were impact rather than strains from training to justify being able to kind of continue that heavy duty training and stuff like that, Whereas, we don't know. Like you said, we're just swallowing the bullshit. 8 of them could have been, muscle injuries sustained in training.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I mean, I'm not saying that's definitely not true. And 100% the fact that something, Greenwood might have gone through Bamford or whatever. I do believe that that amount of training that they were that they had to go through and stuff like that will have some sort of it was bound to cause injuries, strain injuries, muscle injuries, pulls, whatever. So I never believed that it were all impact injuries that were causing the players to sit out. I never believed that 100%. So it's weird how you get two different sides of, well, 3 even if you count Rob Price's stories. The actual guy who was treating these players and stuff at Thorpe Arch. So you don't know what to believe really. But at the end of the day,
yeah, we just have to take it with a pinch of salt.
Apart from that,
yeah,
I think he interviewed very well. I do like him. I like him a lot, and hopefully he's given the right amount of money and support and stuff in the new season, potentially being all being well, being a Premier League team still. But
do you think
it's the overreaction to Twitter for me. It's everyone. Opinions are like arseholes, aren't they? And I've said it many times on this pod. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
But for people to slate Marsch and say that he's wrong and defending Bielsa and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I've tried to play devil's advocate and be kind of on the fence a little bit, and I can see both sides of the story. But to belittle and berate Jesse Marsch from coming out and being open and honest and saying that players were overtrained and stuff like that. At the end of the day, everyone's got an opinion, but we don't actually know what's going on inside that fucking training centre. We don't know what's going on inside the club. He's seen it for his own eyes. He's saying that he could see it in the guy's eyes that when he got there that it wasn't right and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So...
And obviously that's his opinion, and every coach that comes into a club is going to believe that their way is the right way. So there's nothing controversial in a coach saying, I'm not sure that what they were doing before were quite right, but we're going to try.
But the thing that pisses me off is that the people on Twitter are having an opinion about a guy having an opinion. And it's just like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got an opinion about a guy having an opinion, and your opinion is that the guy who was having the opinion is wrong. Have you heard yourself speaking? Fuck me, this guy's played football. He's played international football for United States. He's played, he's managed in frigging Austria and Germany. And you're here, Mr. fucking Keyboard Warrior, saying that he's wrong in what he's saying. Like, Jesus Christ.
That's what I mean. Like he didn't say a lot wrong.
He didn't, and I liked it. I love how he speaks.
Yeah, I do, yeah. But you can't say anything without someone on Twitter jumping out and trying to make a thing out of it. Some people do it for likes, some people do it because they're crazy.
I think a lot of people just don't like him because he's a Yank.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always going to have that stereotype. He's always going to... I mean, the fucking Ted Lasso thing. I fucking hate Gary Lineker.
Yeah.
Passion. He's a twat, is that guy. Yeah, and for him to stand up, I mean, like I say, I only saw the match of the day highlights. I didn't manage to see all the game. For him to stand up and even say that in part of his interview, I thought, you fucking wanker. Have you got nothing else to say?
But the thing is, man,
Ted Lasso, fuck off, you big-eared fucking crispy-eating prick.
He was the same with Bielsa, man. He was pure fucking, it doesn't speak English, blah, blah. It's like, the reason Bielsa didn't speak English, we all know, is because the English press twisted the fuck out of anything that someone says who's got broken English.
Yeah.
And I actually loved it when Bielsa did them in Spanish because it was a big... To you.
Yeah.
Translate that incorrectly.
And he won't bend for it.
Translate that incorrectly at your own peril because that's on you. You know what I mean? And I think that he did the same with Marsch because Marsch then ended up defending his fucking American accent in the same interview with Lineker. And I was like, you've started with another manager that we have on the same fucking path. He's only in the door 5 minutes, but he's actually speaking English. But now you're taking the piss because he's American. It's like, come on, get your heads out of your holes. Like,
get something else to concentrate on.
Yeah, you can't just fixate on that shit.
It's like Klopp. He's always a moaner. Yeah, he is, but he's quirky with it, and I like him. Jose Mourinho. People didn't like him because of how he was. Ranieri and so. If you're not a fucking Frank Lampard or a chuffing Roy Hodgson or something proper vanilla shit. I fucking hate Frank Lampard. He's a useless bastard, and he's only where he is because of the fucking club he used to play for, and he's an English sweetheart because he used to play for England. He did not deserve the fucking Derby job. He did nowhere do anything to get the fucking Chelsea job, and because of his name, he's landed at Everton, and lo and behold, he's fucking shit, and his team are going down the path. It's great.
That's right. He's awesome, isn't he?
It's class. Maybe after this, like the Alan Pardew of English managers that just will forever get like shit jobs and do a shit job of it. And
at this point in time,
it's
more like Alan Partridge.
I think so, yeah.
I mentioned this on B&C, but the apparently the pundits on Sky were like, "Oh, it's not Lampard's fault. He's never been in this situation. It's down to defensive mistakes, individual mistakes, you know." But when it were Leeds, they were all laying at Bielsa and saying, "Oh, he's got no plan B and he doesn't change his tactics and it don't work." But dickheads.
And he would always bear the brunt of anything. Everything would always be Elsa's fault.
Yeah.
You know, and Marsch will come out. I mean, in his earlier interviews when we obviously lost a couple on bounce and stuff like that, you know, it's a new group. They're adapting the style. There's been none of that from Frank Lampard. Well, I've told them what to do, but they don't fucking do it.
They don't seem to have the heart or the desire, or
they don't have the balls. They don't have the balls to do it. They don't do this. They don't do that. You know, Marsch came out. It's a transitionary period. You know, that the players are learning a new style. It's very similar, but there's different. Blah. It'll come together nicely. None of that from Frank Lampard.
Every week.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, he's just a fucking prick, isn't he?
Jesse Marsch coming here. He's got Rodrigo playing like he's fallen back in love with football. Frank Lampard's gone into Everton, and none of them have responded. He's got Dele Alli, who's biggest waste of money I've ever seen.
Honestly,
you know,
fucking Dele Alli, man, what a shame. Because he was a good player, wasn't he? He was a good player.
He was. Yeah, he was. I know they beat Scum, but Scum were terrible. It wasn't because Everton.
Van der Beek as well. Van der Beek and Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And he's a midfielder. He was a midfielder.
You don't see him.
He's ruined these boys.
Frank Lampard's there, like, they don't have any balls, and I've told them what to do, and he's you blah, blah, blah. Fuck off.
He's getting nothing out of him.
No.
I've never wanted someone to stand on a plug more than Frank Lampard.
Cal, you look like you wanted to say something then.
No, I did. I'm just enjoying this little bit of a rant. This is a good old section that we've got going on here now at the moment, I think.
You know me, I can rant about anything. Anything.
Yeah. That's why I'm sitting there laughing me whole off, man.
So I'm going to move us on because we've run pretty long here. But in conclusion, what we're saying is TalkSport are shite. Jesse will know better than to tell him too much in future, and Twitter's fucking mental. Yeah?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Fair enough.
Basically, yeah.
All right, so we've pretty much gone through everything here, but we're just going to quickly touch on our rivals, relegation rivals, as it is, games in hand, and just look ahead briefly before we wrap this up, because I think...
is Brian living in future?
Brian, what's he saying?
I think the bottom three, as is, will be relegated. We've only literally just started talking about that. Jesus Christ. Go on, Brian.
Fucking hell, Brian. Get on the ball there, man.
Brian's on it, mate.
Get him on the pod. He knows it.
For predictions.
Mystic Brian.
Mystic Brian. Yeah, well, he'll have to give us a fans prediction, won't he, next time?
Yeah. Well, that's not till next Tuesday. Hold your horses, Bremner's Ghost.
Tuesday, correct.
His first comment of Bremner's Ghost that I've agreed with all night.
That's the shit of that Sky TV.
I do like you, Bremner's Ghost. I'm only pulling your pisser, by the way, but yeah. Goodbye.
That could be a good chant, you know.
TalkSport is shitter than Sky.
Yeah.
You can figure that one out, Carl. That's your own work for the next 2 weeks.
Sound.
So I think the way it's going to fall before we play Palace on Monday night. Thank you, Sky, you set of absolute bastards. That's fucked a lot of people's travel and hotels up, but you know they don't care.
Oh God.
But
3 weeks beforehand as well, man. Fuck.
It's bollocks, isn't it? It's bollocks. They should all be picked at the start of the season.
Yeah. Football is for the fans.
But I know they want to.
I understand that they want to give more TV and airtime to clubs that might be fighting it out at bottom at league and all that sort of stuff. But it's for the like you just said, Cal. It's for the fans. There's no consideration being given to people who live abroad and all that sort of stuff. Now it's just like, oh fuck you, we don't care. We're going to
take your money off you for a subscription, then they'll shit on you.
Sick of playing on Sundays and all. Fuck. What have we got to do to get a 3 o'clock Saturday kick-off these days?
It's Monday night, isn't it? But yeah, I know what you mean. These 2 o'clock Sundays. That 12 o'clock. They wanted us to play Chelsea on a Sunday. Before that got postponed. 12 o'clock.
Fucking shit. That's just to stop boozing, man.
It's a piss take, man.
To be fair, we have got Man City's still a Saturday, but we've got Palace Monday the 25th. Then it's a Saturday kickoff against City. We've got Sunday kickoff against Arsenal, Wednesday Chelsea, Sunday Brighton, Sunday Brentford. Fuck you, Sky. Fuck you, Premier League. You bunch of pricks.
There you go.
Right now, Sunday as well. Fucking EasyJet not doing free flight changes either. Have lost a fortune. Fucking hell. I'll be honest with you, Alison and Marty. I'd send everything to Sky Sports head fucking office and say, I want reimbursement. This is on ye bunch of fucktards.
Everybody should. Everybody who's been affected by it should.
Yeah.
They
Send
should be
everything.
reimbursed.
Yeah.
They should be held
It's
accountable.
not the clubs that need to reimburse them. It's Sky fucking Sports.
And I
But
know
there should be like, you know, when everyone pays into an insurance pot, everyone pays into an insurance pot for those that are, you know, that get done over by people who are insured when they have a crash and shit.
Yeah,
They should Sky TV and fucking Premier League should stick a big fucking chunk of money in a pot somewhere, so people like Alison and Marty and people that are coming from abroad get shafted by these absolute pricks in charge, and then they go, well, there you go, you're reimbursed for it. I know it's not, obviously, you know, you might not be able to still come to the, but at least you get your money back.
Yeah, if you're unable to attend,
fucking do something about it.
There has to be some consolation.
Because they changed it, then they should compensate you.
Yeah. But like the thing is now as well, like people will be coming from some countries that they've had to book flights 3-4 weeks, 5 weeks in advance. Like you've got all the Norway boys, you know, they come to all the games, like, and that's not cheap for them to come from bloody Norway to go to games, and especially like they do go away games as well.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do? You know,
it's,
what I mean?
It's ridiculous, and they just don't care. And I can understand that they have to be flexible in sort of, you don't know which teams are going to be where at certain times of the season, so there is going to be times where they can't say at the start of the season, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna want such and such game. But there should be some kind of system where they're saying at this point of the season, if you're in the bottom three or whatever, we may move your game. So at least you know there's a possibility that game might get moved. At least then you could plan things taking that into account. I know it's not a foolproof system. I haven't put any real thought into it, if I'm completely honest. There's got to be something they can do.
If they can change one specific fixture, right? So they've decided to change the Crystal Palace to a Wednesday night game. So the fans that might live locally to us will have to travel down to London on a fucking Wednesday night, probably not get home because there won't be any trains or buses or whatever, stuff, or not enough of them running at that sort of time whenever the game finishes.
Yeah.
If they can do that, why don't they swap the fucking Manchester City game to a Wednesday and swap the Crystal Palace game to a Saturday? So it's beneficial, so that the fans can actually get. Why can't they do that? They should be able to do that.
They could if they wanted, but
of course they could do. But they just don't give a fuck because they know that they'll make up the money on fucking viewing figures anyway. So they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about us.
The thing is, lads,
we'll sell out our away end and it'll be full regardless of what night and where it is.
But that's the thing, lads. Like, whether other fans want to believe it or not, or want to accept it, even though we're only back in the Premier League, our second season, we're one of the biggest draws for TV audiences.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
That's the only reason we're on Monday night now, because Monday night games are bollocks. It's probably some of their lowest viewing figures on the planet.
I'm going to have to patent this idea. I'm going to have to go and set up my own fans insurance company to reimburse fans.
Gilly, Smarty, it's okay, man. This is all recorded. You said it first.
I will take anyone else to court. You mark my words.
We're part of it.
We can't change it. That would probably fuck Alison and Marty up, wouldn't it?
We'll have to go
for
pints. I would in charge
swap both games around. Sorry.
Meet for pints.
Yeah, definitely. If you see us.
Yeah, I just think like a lot of our game changes are down to the fact that we're a big draw on TV. I don't like it's as much as we want to blame. Well, we can't. We are blaming Sky, and they are to blame. Fuck them.
Yes, it is.
Oh, they are, 100%.
But are we? What is it? Something I can't think of the phrase. Are we?
You having another brain fart?
I can't think of the whole phrase. And if I say it incorrectly, I'm just going to look like an absolute twit. Like, so I'm just not going to say it.
We'll be on it. Don't you worry, it'll be on the end of the season. Best bits, fucking outtakes, piss takes, and
that's why I'm not fucking saying it.
Gilly's best bits as well.
I can't wait.
We have to digress slightly from the
We
original
have
point here when we were supposed to be talking about our rivals' games this weekend, and we've gone on a complete rant. And it's definitely Alison and Marty's fault, so you can take it.
Definitely is.
At least they're contributing, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We love comments. The comments are absolutely on fire. Sorry, I'm taking over.
Appreciate
that.
So, out of our last few games, lads, how many points do we think we're getting? let's be realistic now. How many points do we think we're getting?
Well,
Fans in the comments as well. Tell us what you think.
I can't remember the fixtures off the top of my head now, so I'm just going to throw 6 out there.
Right, so we've got Palace,
Well,
then
we'll
City,
get
then
more than that.
Arsenal, Chelsea, Brighton, and Brentford. Brentford being
I think
the
6.
last game of the season away.
You think what, Jay?
I think 6, maybe 7. Go for 7. We'll get a draw against someone that we probably shouldn't.
Right, so there are fixtures for everyone.
I can't bloody see that, Carl.
Allison's going to the Man City game and Martin's going to a little mix. What a sad state of affairs.
In Leeds Arena.
Games
Yeah,
are both, though.
yeah.
At the end of the day, fair play, Allison.
So what? Are you the only one that's going, Alison? And Marty's actually not even going to the game.
Going to the little mix. Martin's
Let's get on the fucking lash, Alison.
Fucking hell. You've played an absolute blinder there, Alison.
Get yourself in Peacock after Allison, and pints will be flowing, don't you worry.
Brilliant. So how many, what are we saying points-wise, lads?
I'm going to guess about 7.
Right. Smart.
He's actually working this out, I think.
I am.
I've just thrown some out there.
I reckon probably 5.
Okay.
I think we'll get a point at Crystal Palace. I think we'll get absolutely rumpled-dick-skinned by Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. I think we will. And then I think we'll beat Brighton and maybe draw with Brentford home. Wait, sorry. 5. I'm going for 5.
I'm going with
Unbelievable.
That's like Carl. About them scanty clad girls, Carl. Must be an Irish thing.
It must be.
I might swap me. No, I won't. I'm thinking we're going to get 8 points.
Really? Where from?
I think we're getting a sneaky draw in one of them 3 harsh.
I actually do. I
think a sneaky draw is on the
Do you
cards.
you think we're beating Palace, Brentford, and Brighton? No, because that'd be 9.
No,
sorry.
9.
So where's 8? So you've got a win and 3 draws.
2 wins, 2 draws,
wins.
Marty.
Yeah, sorry. I'm confusing myself here from what I went on.
Yeah, 2 wins and 2 draws. I think we'll get.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
I think one of the draws is going to be one of them of the 3 that we are not looking forward to.
Chelsea for a draw. It's a big. I think that'd be a big ask.
Well, if those shower
smashes, I think we're all pretty much in agreement that we're probably going to need some toilet roll in the fridge come the end of May when we play Manchester City at home.
Hey, whatever it takes, Smarty.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've digressed away from the original point where we're supposed to be talking about our rival games this weekend. So we've got Manchester United Scum Bastards versus Norwich City. Brighton are at Tottenham. I think Southampton are pretty much home dry, aren't they? Watford versus Brentford. Now that'll be a good game.
Yeah,
I think Watford are pretty
much what I want from them,
aren't they? It's all about Burnley, innit? And Burnley are playing West Ham on Sunday.
I'd kind of like to see Watford and Brentford draw, if I'm honest, but I don't really care about Brentford at this point. There were a time when I wanted to overtake them, but at this point, I don't care now. We're doing all right, and just keep it that way.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. The only one I'm looking at really that's got any significance is West Ham Burnley.
Yeah, absolutely hoping for West Ham win.
For me, I think that's the only one we should be kind of looking at going, right, West Ham do us a solid there.
Yeah.
I think that's out of the weekend's fixtures. I think Watford and Brentford is going to be a bore draw, personally.
I don't know. I think Brentford will beat them.
Yeah.
I think Brentford's result against Chelsea was a pure fluke, to be honest with you.
Tony's doing pretty well again.
I just don't think they've got...
Didn't they win on Saturday again as well, though?
See, the way I look at it, man, Brentford are quite like the big teams when they come up against us. They perform against the big teams. Like obviously they've beaten Burnley and Norwich, but
Yeah, they beat West Ham at weekend as well, mate.
what did they? Oh fucking hell!
I'm saying they're not doing too bad out of Brentford at a minute.
Boards raw. I don't give a shit.
No, well, fair enough.
I was just about to say, I'm hoping West Ham turn up for the Burnley game because they were shit at the weekend and they seem to have dropped off a bit. So,
Right.
yeah, by the time we play again, we should know how things lie because everyone will have caught up, I think, and we'll all be pretty much level. So,
Well, hopefully not level, but level on games anyway.
When do Everton play next?
Not this Saturday and not this Sunday, so I'm not sure.
It's midweek, I think. Is it?
They don't have as many in hand, do they? Have they got one?
They've got two in hand on us.
Two now.
And Newcastle are out of it yet. Newcastle are a point above us. I mean, yeah, they've got
out of it.
But
I'm not worried about them.
Everton
I'm not worried about the teams that we've got around us because I think we've got enough to keep us going, and I do believe firmly that we'll be okay. But it's nice to see that there's not just literally the bottom three and maybe Everton and us. There's still really there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 teams within 3 points of us. Above us, you know what I mean? So there's there's plenty of chance for them to be pulled into a bit of a not necessarily a relegation scrap because I think it'll be as it is. I think Brian said, I think it'll be as it is. He predicted our future. So,
well, like we're closer to 9th than we are to 18th, like points wise.
It's mad that bottom half of the table, isn't it?
It's daft, man. We're 7 points off 9th.
This is probably not making right good viewing, and we apologise because we're all three of us are flicking through his phone.
Yeah, we're all just like,
So we apologise.
About 20 minutes ago, to be fair.
We weren't expecting a right lot tonight because we've got no game at weekend. So fuck it, you're here, fucking whatever.
Just enjoy it, man.
That's it. It's just a Leeds United related ramble.
But yeah, so that it just shows how bonkers the league is this year. So
we've been on an hour and a half.
I know,
it's time to go, lads.
Time to finish. That's what we're trying to tell you. It's because every time we've got onto a subject, we've just ended up talking.
Alison doesn't mind. Martin's upstairs listening to fucking Little Mix, so she's like,
sure he knows all the words.
Brendan's got fucking jealous of the man in your hair, G, and we've got obviously Brian in there somewhere as well.
That's it.
Mr. Brian.
All good. No one cares.
As our regular listeners.
Yeah,
I think we'll wrap it up there, boys. It's been a good one, to be fair, and it's actually fun.
Start off slow.
Yeah. Well,
hold on, just before we go.
Oh,
Bremner's ghosting with a bit of an old 2-footer at the back post for Fat Frank.
Ooh, I like it. That would be my preferred. That would be definitely my preferred. Lot to go down.
Me too. I think we'd all enjoy that. It goes out. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, unless anyone's got anything else to say, anything?
I
boys,
think we've said enough.
I do.
We've rambled on enough. Like we've literally turned water into wine here. So
we have. We've worked miracles.
Just a heads up. I'm not making it a Chelsea pod or anything, but it's 4-all.
Come off quick. Get rid. Stats with that.
We don't care about that.
We don't care. It's a Leeds podcast, for fuck's sake.
All right, that's just
go on. Tell us how your second favourite team are getting on.
Who?
Chelsea.
Fuck off.
I don't want to know.
Here, end this stream before I say something I regret, will you?
Cheers for watching and listening, everyone.
Thanks for watching, folks.